This is Thomas Walker, coming to you live from what remains of my sanity. If you're hearing this transmission, consider it both a warning and my final testament. I've been documenting strange phenomena for the Unexplained Horizons podcast for years, but nothing prepared me for what I discovered beneath the sands of Egypt. It's been 3 days since I entered the unnamed pyramid complex south of Giza. 3 days since I followed in the footsteps of a man named John, whose own journey I've pieced together through scattered notes and, well, something more disturbing. The locals warned me. The academic community dismissed the legends. But I had to know the truth about Amenti. I'm broadcasting from inside the tomb now. My equipment is failing and the battery won't last much longer. Let me tell you what happened to John, what's happening to me, and why you should never, ever seek this place. John arrived at this massive pyramid at dusk on January 6, 2025. I've seen his photographs. He was a historian and photographer, driven more by fame than knowledge. The setting sun cast long shadows across the ancient stones as he approached. The air was thick with heat and the scent of dust centuries old. He deliberately chose dusk, knowing the guards would be changing shifts, leaving the entrance temporarily unwatched. I found the warning inscription near the entrance myself, ancient hieroglyphs promising death to any who entered. The narrow passageways beyond would terrify anyone with claustrophobia, barely wide enough for a person to squeeze through, the weight of millennia pressing down from above. But John ignored all warnings, his camera equipment clutched tightly against his chest as he ducked into the darkness. I followed his path into the burial chamber, where the artifacts of Pharaoh Rudimen remain untouched by time. The air here is stagnant, heavy with the scent of ancient oils and resins. The walls are covered in vibrant paintings depicting the pharaoh's journey to the afterlife, the colors impossibly preserved after thousands of years. John took only selective photographs here. I found his first images, just 2 carefully composed shots before he activated the portable generator to illuminate the deeper chambers. The harsh electric light cast unnatural shadows across the sacred hieroglyphs, making the painted figures seem to writhe and dance on the walls. Everything seemed normal at first. John moved deeper, photographing artifacts, his footsteps echoing through chambers untouched for millennia. At one point, the generator malfunctioned, plunging him momentarily into darkness. When it flickered back to life, something had changed. His camera captured something that shouldn't have been there, a statue where no statue stood before. But the true horror came when he realized the twin Anubis guardians flanking the entrance to the shrine had moved. Their jackal heads had turned as if watching him. I've seen these statues myself. Their obsidian eyes seem to follow you across the room, ancient and knowing. John continued deeper, finding a massive gateway requiring a relic to open. Through another narrow passage, he discovered a door with clear warnings inscribed in both hieroglyphs and, strangely, in English. This place is haunted, it read. No one is permitted entry. Death awaits those who proceed. You enter at your own peril. Like all doomed protagonists in horror stories, John disregarded the warning. Beyond the door, the tomb opened into a vast chamber filled with statues of Egyptian deities. Their faces, carved from limestone and granite, possess an unsettling realism, as though they might blink at any moment. The chamber housed an intricate mechanism for opening yet another gate, alongside a journal entry dated 1922, signed by someone named Henry Caldwell. I found this journal too, its pages yellow and brittle with age, the handwriting becoming increasingly frantic with each entry. Caldwell hadn't come seeking fame like John. He sought confirmation of his theories about ancient Egypt's connection to extraterrestrial beings. The journal speaks of something watching from the darkness, of Caldwell leaving these notes as breadcrumbs for those who might follow. He mentions a queen's soul drawing closer, forcing him to flee. John pressed on, seemingly guided by some unseen force. Passages that had been sealed suddenly opened before him. The deeper he ventured, the more unexplainable events occurred. His photographs revealed statues that hadn't been there when he took the shots, mummies appearing where empty sarcophagi had stood moments before. Caldwell's second journal entry expressed terror at being near Pharaoh Rudimen's tomb, the very destination John sought. The air grows colder here despite the desert heat above. The walls are adorned with scenes of the pharaoh's life, his conquests, his connection to the gods, his marriage to Queen Meritankar. Her image appears repeatedly, her eyes always seeming to look directly at the viewer, no matter the angle. Through another claustrophobic passage, John finally reached Rudiman's burial chamber. The sarcophagus dominated the center of the room, elaborately decorated with gold and precious stones that gleamed even in the dim light of John's torch. Without hesitation, he photographed it and then, in what would prove to be his fatal mistake, he opened the pharaoh's coffin. A scream echoed through the chambers, so loud it seemed to vibrate the very stones. When John raised his camera again, he found himself elsewhere. Not just in another location, but seemingly in another time. Caldwell's third journal entry, which I found scattered among the dust, suggests they had both been transported to the past. The writing becomes increasingly desperate, urging any reader to flee immediately, to abandon any thought of remaining. John continued forward, having no alternative. The statues along his path turned their heads to watch him pass. He crossed a bridge connecting to another structure, only to have his flashlight fail completely, leaving him in absolute darkness. The darkness here isn't just the absence of light, it's almost a physical presence, pressing against your skin, filling your lungs with each breath. I've experienced it myself. It's hungry. John solved puzzles by the light of ancient oil lamps, all while being tormented by horrifying visions. When he photographed a corpse, its head turned toward his camera. A shot into darkness revealed a massive eye staring back. When he finally found the item needed to open the gateway, a hand emerged from the shadows to extinguish his light. Most disturbing of all, a mummy he photographed vanished from its coffin between one heartbeat and the next. In one chamber, John discovered wall paintings depicting people worshipping a strange symbol, a realization that the Amenti legend was real. An inscription explained the truth about Pharaoh Rudiman. I'll get to that shortly. After reading it and entering yet another chamber, he heard footsteps approaching before activating a mechanism that brought him face to face with Pharaoh Rudiman himself. I've seen glimpses of this pharaoh in the darkness. Not a mummy, but a living man with eyes that burn like twin stars. His golden headdress catches light that doesn't exist, and his skin has the unnatural pallor of someone who has transcended death itself. John then found himself outside, staring at a night sky filled with stars arranged in patterns unknown to modern astronomy. A blinding light engulfed him, and he awoke back in the tomb, his flashlight beside him. He believed it had all been a dream, especially since Rudiman's sarcophagus remained sealed. But dreams don't leave sand in your shoes or ancient dust in your lungs. I know this now. John continued his journey, finding another of Caldwell's notes warning about a queen who had been stalking him through the darkness. Caldwell described the place as cursed, begging any reader to escape while they still could. Too late, John caught sight of the queen, a terrifying figure gliding along a high balcony, her eyes fixed on him with predatory intensity. Her ceremonial dress hung in tatters around her desiccated form, yet she moved with the grace of a hunting cat. Lost in a labyrinth of identical corridors, John discovered two sarcophagi containing another inscription and a relic. Upon photographing the mummified remains of the queen, she appeared behind him, her face inches from his, causing him to lose consciousness. When John awoke, terror had finally broken his resolve. He sought escape, finding Caldwell's final note. Caldwell hadn't known if he was trapped in Amenti or had returned to his world. He wrote that mummies were coming to kill him, yet he felt strangely calm knowing the Amenti legend was real and that ancient Egypt had indeed contacted beings from beyond our world. The abrupt end to his writing suggests he died mid-sentence. John met a similar fate. A mummy suddenly appeared and pursued him through the narrow corridors. The floor collapsed beneath him, sending him plummeting into darkness, a blessing in disguise as it freed him from the creature's pursuit. He found himself back where he had started, tantalizingly close to the exit. But the way was blocked by rubble. His only escape route was through the large gateway requiring the relic he'd found. The gate opened onto a long corridor seemingly leading to freedom. Can you imagine the elation? The relief flooding through your veins as you believe you've escaped a nightmare? I felt it too for a brief moment. But like John, I reached the outside only to discover the horrifying truth. There is no escape from Amenti. The sky above was wrong. The stars were arranged in impossible patterns. And hovering above the pyramid were disc-shaped objects, emanating beams of light. Not a dream, not a hallucination, but the terrible reality of Amenti. Let me explain what I've learned about this place before my transmission fails. Amenti, also called Duat, is the Egyptian underworld or hidden land. Those approaching death were believed to enter Amenti for a 3-day trial facing their greatest fears. It's a realm between death, life, and reincarnation. Through Caldwell's notes and John's experience, and now my own, I've confirmed the Amenti legend is real. Both men became trapped here forever, as I fear I am now. The inscriptions John found revealed that Pharaoh Rudiman and Queen Meritankar shared a sacred bond with the star gods. The wall paintings showing Egyptians worshipping an eye-like symbol likely represent Horus, the sky god and protector of pharaohs. According to the second inscription, when the people of Thebes suffered under the scorching sun and desperate thirst, they prayed to their gods. Disc-shaped objects appeared and constructed pyramids above the pharaoh's sacred tombs. These pyramids brought mysterious power that quickly restored the Nile's flow and returned life to the land. Pharaoh Rudiman was the only pharaoh to receive power directly from the gods, allowing him to manipulate time and space. Upon his death, his body was mummified and his soul sent to a peaceful realm. Anyone disturbing his rest would face his wrath. Now it's clear why John experienced such terror. By opening Rudiman's sarcophagus, he disturbed the pharaoh's peace. The scream we heard was Rudiman's anger. From that moment, John was trapped in Amenti, transported through space and time by the pharaoh's power. Queen Meritankar also tormented John for disturbing her husband. In the end, John witnessed the disc-shaped objects mentioned in the inscriptions. His fate remains unknown, but I believe he died the moment he opened Rudiman's sarcophagus. The terrors experienced by both John and Caldwell resulted from their own recklessness. They ignored warnings, angering Pharaoh Rudiman, who trapped them in Amenti forever. My battery is almost dead. If anyone receives this broadcast, heed my warning. Stay away from the unnamed pyramid. The legends of Amenti are real. I came seeking answers about John's disappearance, but I've only found my own doom. I can hear them coming now. The shuffling of bandaged feet on stone. The whispers in a language older than time. I don't think I'll be making another broadcast. This is Thomas Walker, signing off from Amenti, the hidden land. May the gods have mercy on my ass.